Today's video is perfect for you. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1976 1-cent coin. Yes, the humble penny, which might seem insignificant at first glance, has a rich history and some surprising twists that could make it worth a lot of money. Stay tuned as we uncover the story, its historical significance, and most importantly, the potential value that could make you a small fortune. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss out on any of our future deep dives into rare coins, historical artifacts, and valuable collectibles. Let's start with a bit of history. The year 1976 was a very special year in the United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To celebrate this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint produced special commemorative coins, and while we often think of larger denominations like the bicentennial quarter, the 1-cent coin was also part of this celebration. Now, the design of the 1976 1-cent coin didn't change drastically, but there's something really interesting about it. You see, the penny still bore the famous likeness of President Abraham Lincoln, but what's unique about the 1976 version is that it was struck with the bicentennial mint mark, which was placed on the reverse side of the coin. Let's break that down. The reverse of the 1976 penny features the classic image of a wheat stalk, a design that had been in use since the 1909 Lincoln wheat cent. However, the bicentennial mint mark, which consisted of a small D or S, depending on the mint, was added in honor of the country's 200th anniversary. So, the 1976 penny came from two different mints, the Denver Mint, D, and the San Francisco Mint, S. These mint marks are key because they influence the rarity and potential value of the coin. Okay, now let's talk value. The 1976 1-cent coin, like most pennies, was initially worth just 1 cent when it was minted. But as with any collectible, time can dramatically affect its value, especially for those that are rare or in particularly good condition. Most 1976 1-cent coins, especially those that have been circulating for years, are worth just their face value, 1 cent. However, if you happen to find one in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could be worth a bit more. The real value starts to kick in when we talk about proof coins. You see, the U.S. Mint produced special proof sets in 1976, and the pennies in these sets were struck with a higher level of detail and polish, making them much more desirable to collectors. Proof coins from the 1976 sets can be worth anywhere from $2 to $10 or more, depending on their condition. But if you have one that's been graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, it could fetch a significantly higher price. Now, let's get to the really exciting part, the coins that are worth big money. There are certain rare varieties of the 1976 penny that can go for thousands of dollars at auction, and these are the coins collectors are always on the lookout for. One of the most notable rare versions is the 1976 S-proof coin. There's a small number of these coins that were struck with the wrong planchet, which means they were made with a copper alloy planchet instead of the intended bronze alloy planchet. This error makes these coins incredibly rare and valuable. So, how much can one of these errors be worth? Well, in some cases, a 1976 S copper alloy penny can sell for upwards of $100,000, depending on its grade and condition. Other varieties that are worth looking out for include those with doubled dies, where the details on the coin appear doubled due to a minting error. These can also fetch several $100s or more, depending on the severity of the doubling. It's amazing how small errors or changes in production can turn a simple penny into something worth thousands. And the best part is, you might have one sitting in your collection right now, or even hidden in your spare change jar. So, how do you identify a valuable 1976 penny? First, always check the mint mark. As we mentioned, the 1976 penny could come from either the Denver Mint, D, or the San Francisco Mint, S, and this can influence its potential value. Next, inspect the condition of the coin. If it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it's more likely to have value, especially if it's a proof coin or a rare error variety. You can use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect the coin for any unusual markings, errors, or signs of doubling on the design. If you find something unusual, make sure to have it professionally graded, as this can significantly affect its market value. Now that you know what to look for, let's talk about where to buy and sell 1976 pennies. There are a few great places to start. Coin shows, dealers, and online marketplaces like eBay are all great places to buy and sell rare pennies. However, if you're serious about making big money from your collection, I recommend checking with a reputable dealer or auction house who specializes in rare coins. Remember, if you ever find a coin that you think is especially rare, always get it professionally authenticated and graded. It can be the difference between a few dollars and thousands of dollars. So, there you have it, the history, value, and big money potential of the 1976 1-cent coin. From its role in the bicentennial celebrations to the rare era coins that could make you a small fortune, the 1976 penny is much more than just a penny. Now, go ahead and check your pocket change or dig through your coin collection. Who knows, you might just have a hidden treasure waiting for you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome coin content. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting! If you love learning about the fascinating world of numismatics, you're in for a treat today. We're going to explore the history. At first glance, a penny might seem insignificant, but as you'll see, this particular coin has a lot more to offer than you might think. So grab a magnifying glass and let's dive into this incredible story. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our future deep dives into rare coins, historical treasures, and valuable collectibles. Alright, let's start with a little bit of history. The 1980 60 penny comes from a time when the U.S. Mint was continuing its long-running tradition of striking the Lincoln Memorial cent. The Lincoln Memorial design, which we see on the reverse side of this coin, was first introduced in 1959, and by 1986, it was still one of the most iconic coin designs in the world. On the obverse side, we have the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been featured on the penny since 1909, and while it's remained largely unchanged, Lincoln's face on the 1-cent coin continues to serve as a reminder of his leadership and legacy. Now, if you look closely at the 1980 60 penny, you'll notice the mint mark D. This mint mark means that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary mints of the United States. The D mint mark is key, as it helps determine both the rarity and value of the coin, which we'll get into shortly. The Denver Mint has been in operation since 1906 and is responsible for minting coins, including the penny, nickel, dime, and others. It's one of the largest coin production facilities in the country, and its output of pennies has been enormous. Though the design itself didn't change in 1986, the year was important for another reason: the continued evolution of U.S. coin production, which had been influenced by changes in technology, materials, and design over the decades. But how did all these factors influence the 1980 60 penny's value? Now, let's talk about the value of the 1980 60 penny. While this coin might not be worth a fortune in most cases, there are certain circumstances where its value can be quite a bit higher than its face value of just 1 cent. Most 1980 60 pennies you come across in circulation are worth, well, exactly 1 cent. After all, this coin was produced in vast quantities by the U.S. Mint. About 5 billion of these pennies were made that year. That's a lot of pennies. So, they're relatively common and wouldn't be considered rare in terms of availability. But wait, don't be too quick to dismiss it. Even though the 1980 60 penny is common, its value can still go up depending on the condition. Coins that are in uncirculated or near mint condition could fetch a premium. If you happen to have a 1980 60 penny that looks like it just came off the minting press, it could be worth anywhere from 10 to 50 cents, depending on the quality. To determine how much your 1980 60 penny could be worth, you'll need to look at its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. Pennies in lower grades, like those with visible wear and scratches, will have minimal value. But if your 1980-60 penny is in what's called MS-65 or higher condition, it could be worth a few bucks. For example, a 1980-60 penny in MS-65 condition could go for $1 or $2 on the market. While most 1980-60 pennies are pretty standard, there are a few key factors that could make a particular penny far more valuable. One such factor is the potential for errors. Minting errors are fascinating because even the tiniest mistake can cause a coin to become extremely rare and valuable. For example, some 1980-60 pennies were struck with die breaks, or they may have suffered from what's called off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned with the press. These types of errors are very rare, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. If you find a 1980-60 penny with a die break, you might have a coin worth hundreds of dollars, depending on how significant the error is. Off-center strikes can also boost the value. In some cases, a 1980-60 penny with a major minting error could sell for anywhere between $50 to $500 or more. Some of the most valuable 1980-60 pennies come from minor errors that make them more unique, but the most valuable of all are the ones with very noticeable or dramatic mistakes. If you happen to come across one of these, especially in good condition, you could be holding a rare treasure. So, how do you know if your 1980-60 penny is worth more than 1 cent? The first step is to examine the coin carefully. Start by looking at the details on the coin. If the penny is worn down with lots of scratches or fading, it's likely worth just its face value. But if the details of Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the memorial building are sharp and crisp, you may have an uncirculated penny, which will increase its value. Next, check for any minting errors like die breaks, off-center strikes, or double dies. A double die is a type of error where the image on the coin is stamped more than once, resulting in a slight doubling of the design. This is a rare phenomenon and one that could make your penny a valuable piece. Once you've identified the condition and any possible errors, it's time to get your coin graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are the gold standard when it comes to determining a coin's true value. Grading can cost a bit of money, but it's worth it if you believe you have a coin that could be worth big bucks. If you want to buy or sell a 1980-60 penny, there are several great places to start. Online auction sites like eBay are excellent platforms to either find or sell rare pennies. You can also check out local coin shops or coin shows where dealers and collectors gather to buy, sell, and trade valuable coins. But remember, if your 1980-60 penny is especially rare or in excellent condition, it's worth getting it authenticated and professionally graded before you sell it. A coin's grade can greatly influence its price. So, there you have it, the 1980-60 1-cent coin. While this penny may seem ordinary, its history, potential errors, and condition can make it a real gem for collectors. Whether you're just starting your collection or are a seasoned numismatist, always be on the lookout for rare varieties, because you never know when you might find one that's worth big money. Don't forget to check your change jar, and keep an eye out for those rare pennies. Who knows, you might just have a treasure on your hands. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome coin content. Until next time, happy collecting! We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1974 1-cent coin. This seemingly simple penny may be worth more than you think, and today, we're going to talk about its history, its value, and how it could potentially make you some big money. So stay tuned, and let's get started. Before we jump in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any of our future videos on rare coins, valuable collectibles, and fascinating historical items. Let's start with a little history lesson. The 1974 1-cent coin was minted during a time of great change in the United States. While the design on the obverse side of the coin remained relatively consistent, the economic climate and the changing landscape of U.S. currency played a role in shaping the penny we know today. Like most pennies of this era, The 1974 1-cent coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been used on the penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. But here's an interesting fact. The original Lincoln design wasn't just a tribute to Lincoln's presidency. It was meant to celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth in 1909. By 1974, the penny's design had already been in circulation for 65 years, and it would stay the same for decades after. But what about the reverse side? Let's talk about that. The reverse side of the 1974 penny features the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat stock design in 1959. The Lincoln Memorial is a symbol of American history and a fitting tribute to the great president. The design was created by Frank Gasparo, a U.S. mint engraver, and it's been used on the penny until 2008, when it was replaced by the shield design we see today. But here's something you might not know. While the design remained largely unchanged, the composition of the penny started to change in the 1970s due to rising metal costs. In fact, by 1974, the U.S. Mint was already considering ways to reduce the cost of making the penny. This would eventually lead to the introduction of the copper-plated zinc penny in 1982. But more on that in a bit. Alright, now let's talk about the value of the 1974 1-cent coin. Like most pennies, the 1974 version is generally worth just 1 cent in its most common form, especially if it's seen years of circulation. But hold on, not all 1974 pennies are created equal. The value of any coin depends heavily on its condition, and the 1974 penny is no exception. Most of the 1974 pennies you'll find in your pocket change are in worn or circulated condition, which means their value is close to, or at, face value. However, if you happen to have a 1974 penny that's in excellent, uncirculated condition, it could be worth a little more. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, a 1974 penny that's graded MS65, mint state 65, could be worth around $1 to $2. While that's not a huge fortune, it's still a nice little premium above face value. To give you an idea, a typical 1974 penny in circulated condition will usually be worth anywhere between 2 to 5 cents. But if you find one in excellent condition, like MS65 or higher, it can easily go for $1 or more depending on demand. Now, let's get to the fun part. What about those rare 1974 pennies that could actually be worth big money? There are a few key things to look for when it comes to the 1974 penny that could make it more valuable than you'd ever imagine. First off, mint errors are always a big deal when it comes to coin collecting. The 1974 penny has some specific errors that collectors actively seek. Let's look at one of the most valuable errors you might come across, the 1974 double die obverse penny. What is a double die obverse, you ask? Well, this is a type of minting error where the coin is struck more than once by the dies, causing the design to be slightly doubled on the coin. In the case of the 1974 penny, this results in a noticeable doubling of the lettering, particularly the word Liberty and the date itself. Finding a 1974 double die obverse penny in good condition can be quite a find, and these coins can sell for anywhere between $100 to $1,000 or more, depending on the severity of the doubling and the condition of the coin. For example, some 1974 pennies were struck with a die crack that runs across the coin, creating a unique pattern. These pennies are rare and can also command prices in the range of $100 or more, especially if they're in great condition. If you think you found a rare 1974 penny, it's always a good idea to have it inspected by a professional. There are many coin dealers and experts who specialize in mint errors and can help you determine whether your penny is worth big money. Now that you know about the rare errors and their value, let's talk about how to identify and grade your 1974 penny. The first thing you'll want to do is inspect the coin carefully. Look for any signs of wear or scratches, especially on the raised details like Lincoln's portrait and the lettering. If the coin is worn down, it's likely to have minimal value. However, if the details are sharp and clear, that's a good sign it's in uncirculated or near mint condition. Next, use a magnifying glass or loupe to examine the letters and numbers on the coin. If you notice any doubling, particularly on the word Liberty or the date, you could be holding a double die obverse error, which could greatly increase the value of the penny. Once you've inspected the coin and found any potential errors, the next step is to get it professionally graded. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can determine the coin's true value based on its condition and rarity. So, where can you buy or sell 1974 pennies? There are a few places where you can either find rare pennies or sell your own. Online marketplaces like eBay are a great place to find and sell rare 1974 pennies. There are also local coin shops and coin shows where collectors and dealers gather to buy, sell, and trade valuable coins. If you have a rare 1974 penny, it's always a good idea to have it professionally graded before selling it, as this can significantly increase its market value. So there you have it. The 1974 1-cent coin might seem like just another penny, but when you take a closer look, it's clear that it holds a lot of value, especially if you have one in excellent condition or with a rare mint error. From double die obverse errors to die cracks and off-center strikes, there's plenty of potential for big money with the 1974 penny. Make sure to check your change jar and keep your eyes peeled for any rare 1974 pennies. You never know when you might find a little treasure. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome coin content. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!